If you're a Carolina Panther fan, you just witnessed the best draft class so far in Dan Morgan's tenure, in my opinion. The value at almost every selection in this draft class was insane. Out of my grades, almost everybody in this draft class you got higher than what I graded them out to be in terms of the round that you were picking them at, besides Monre Freeling. Even he was selected lower than where I would have taken him if I was a general manager in the National Football League. Dan Morgan gets his props, man. You started off in year one where he stepped into a role as a GM of this team. He had no idea what to do, man. He stepped into a team where his quarterback second season didn't have no idea what he was going to be after coming off of a 2-15 season that year with Frank Reich. There was a lot of mess. He took a lot of shots in the draft with Trevor Wallace, Jonathan Brooks, Xavier Legette. He didn't know what he was doing. Okay. He was taking a lot of chances because, again, when you're a team that just came off that type of season and you're a new general manager, you have a lot to figure out and you're going to bank on the trades. Okay. So, what he was doing in his first season, a lot of people will, look at it and say, this is only really good offseason so far. I would disagree. I thought last offseason was obviously a really good one as well. He's done a great job filling the trenches out, offensive line, defensive line. I'll touch on that here in a second. But man, this feels like the first draft, even more than last year, where there's a plan in place. There's a plan in place, and you're starting to see his plan come together as the GM of this franchise because he stepped in here and he said, I want to build the trenches. Every general manager that's been here and head coach, I want to run the ball. I want to be good on the offensive line. I want to be great on the defensive line, get pressure, stop the run. They've been speak. Dan Morgan has been talk, and he's done what he said he was going to do as well since he started being the GM here in 2024. It's insane how good the transformation has been on both the offensive and defensive lines, in this franchise. It's crazy. Okay, you traded Brian Burns. You came in here with nothing when he started. Offensive line, same thing there as well. Bryce Young had arguably the worst offensive line as a rookie in the NFL in some time. So he had to rebuild that. And in 3 off seasons, he's done that. He's done that. He got Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, Ike Ekwonu starting to develop a little bit more. Taylor Moen staying, got Rasheed Walker as well. You're drafting guys as well in the offensive and defensive line. You obviously signed Jalen Phillips. You drafted Nick Scorin and Princely Umanmielen there last season in the second round. The plan's coming in place, okay? He wants to have the best offensive line and defensive line in the NFL. If you guys cannot kind of realize what he's trying to do right now, the skill positions are coming next. Okay, a lot of people were going to argue and get upset that Monre Freeland was the pick, as we're kind of touching on now the draft picks. A lot of people will argue in this fan base that pick was not, you don't understand. You had Mekhi Lemon there at 19 and you didn't take him there when you had arguably one of the best receivers in this draft class and you took an offensive tackle when you might not even start the season. Those are great warranted questions. I get the questions, but he told us we want to protect Bryce Young. We want to get after the quarterback. We want to stop the run. The best teams in the NFL do that at the highest level. The Eagles do that at the highest level. You can say, yes, they have Saquon Barkley, great receivers with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Those came next, though. When you look at their draft picks, man, they built from within. Jalen Carter, okay, they built from within. Talking about the trenches. Okay, Dan Morgan has made that known. So, in my opinion, when you got a 6'7", 315-pound left tackle on the board at 19, in my opinion, he was a top 10 pick easily in this draft class, in my opinion, in terms of the value of the player that he is. He has the highest ceiling of any tackle in this draft class, is coming in as probably the most polished left tackle in terms of pass rush, in terms of pass blocking in this draft class. And you got him at pick 19. You don't ever pass that up. You don't ever pass up a franchise left tackle for your quarterback's blind side at 19, no matter what you need. Okay, no matter what you need. And not only that, he made up for it for getting Chris Brazzell in the third round. So I'm telling you, Dan Morgan had a plan. He came into it, said, we're going to take the offensive line early because we want one, right? That was on our mind. It wasn't something that was like especially before Rasheed Walker signing, we knew offensive tackle was going to be on the board and considered for us in round one. Okay, not as much after we signed him, but it was still on the table. Clearly, it was still on the table. They liked him a lot, and it makes sense, okay? Because when you have a franchise left tackle there at 19, the potential left tackle of the franchise, you take him at 19 no matter what else is there. No matter what else is there. A lot of people don't realize that, what Dan Morgan was trying to do there, okay? Only allowed 1 sack in 434 passing snaps in 2025. That's elite, man. You look at his tape, he has great feet. Again, his run blocking is a little bit suspect, but again, you have 4 other offensive linemen. You got Damian Lewis to run block. Taylor Bowen is a great pass blocker as well. As we know, he's been here in Carolina for almost a decade now. We know how good of a player Taylor Bowen is at the right tackle position. You got other guys that can run block. You want your left tackle to be the best when it comes to pass blocking, and you got the best pass blocker, in my opinion, in the draft class. At least he's gonna be that in 2 years, okay? No matter if he starts this season or not. But guess what? He has the opportunity to get the starting job because you don't take a first round left tackle, and not give him the opportunity to start in year 1. I don't think you need to start him because you have a good player in Rasheed Walker. But if you're the Carolina Panthers, you have a player who can start this year or sit behind Rasheed Walker and get even better for year 2 and be that franchise left tackle for Bryce Young or whatever happens to the quarterback position here in the next 2 seasons. Okay. So Monre Freeling, great selection for the Carolina Panthers. It solidifies what we're trying to do and the plan in place that Dan Morgan has had his first 3 seasons as the GM of this franchise. Second pick, arguably my favorite selection in the draft class, in my opinion, was Lee Hunter, the defensive tackle out of Texas Tech. He was my second graded defensive tackle in this draft class behind Caleb Banks, and they were 30 selections apart. And I think Kaden McDonald even went a little bit above him in the second round as well. I think they were all 3 very close. I think Caleb Banks, because of his pass rush ability, even with the injury, the potential that Caleb Banks has, in my opinion, he was a number 1 rated defensive tackle. Kaden McDonald and Lee Hunter was really close for me in terms of the second best defensive tackle. You either get the run stuffer or you get somebody in Lee Hunter who is a big body as well, but you can also get him with pass rush ability as well. He's honestly best at that. He's 6'4", 325. At that size, man, the fact that you can even rush the passer as well as he can, 53 pressures. That was ranked 53 out of 887 all defensive linemen. That's edge rushers and defensive tackles. He rated 53rd in the entire country last season in pressures as a 325-pound defensive tackle. Okay. And yes, a lot of people can say, what about the explosiveness in the NFL? He's not going to have that because of his size. He's 6'4". He's kind of heavy, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, his power is elite. You turn the film on, you can see that he has amazing power when it comes to rushing the passer. And he's going to use that, man. Against centers that he's way bigger than, he's going to be able to do that. Next to Derek Brown, again, we have to remember we have Derek Brown next to him, right? You're going to be able to do a lot, even if you're a mediocre defensive tackle next to a guy like Derek Brown. Okay, and you got my number 2 rated defensive tackle in the late second round, who is great in pass rush. Okay, Derek Brown's already there for you to stop the run. Lee Hunter's, there's still maybe a little bit of work to do there when it comes to stopping the run. You're going to get pass rush, man. You're going to get pass rush. Turk Warren did not bring that last season. He was unhealthy. Obviously, you have Bobby Brown there in the middle as well. He's going to be more of that run stuffer. You needed a guy like Lee Hunter who has the potential to do both, stop the run and get after the quarterback at some point in his career, but you can bring in at the very least a good amount of pass rush in his first season. Okay, so it's a great selection in my opinion. I love this pick. This is probably my favorite pick. He's going to have the ability to come in and make an impact right away. Like, this is the player that is going to keep an eye on. Like, in camp, he could take the starting job and be next to Derek Brown by week 1. I don't even think it's crazy to say that because he's that good of a player. And you got him again in the late second round. Great pick from Dan Morgan as well to solidify the interior of that defensive line. And third selection, a lot of people's favorite pick in the draft class. And again, it makes sense. It's going to be Chris Brazzell, the receiver out of Tennessee. This is a very good pick in terms of value. Okay. He was really, in my opinion, like a second round kind of grade for me, mid to late second round. There's a lot of stuff that he needs to work on. He's not going to come in here and be some crazy receiver right away. I don't know if he's even going to be able to start right away because, again, the staff, at least we know Xavier Leggett, is going to show up and give you 20 yards a game. Okay. He has to come in here and prove it. He's not going to get handed the starter job. But one thing you got was value. Every single pick in here, you got value. Chris Brazzell, again, I wasn't high on. A lot of people talking about he was a first round pick. The value, no, I never thought that. He has a lot of work on still. Getting him in the third round when he's this good of a player in terms of he ran a 4.37 at the combine. That's super fast. 6'5", 200 pounds. He has potential. The ceiling's the potential for him, okay? I just didn't like him in the first round, those grades that people were giving him. But again, you got him in the third round, and my grade was really a second round pick, okay? Because you had people comparing him to Carnell Tate in terms of the route running. That's not the case, okay? He's not a great route runner. A lot of people will say he is. The film to me showed he still has work to do in terms of the route running in his game. The speed's there. He has the ability to take top off the defense, but he's going to need to come in and earn the spot. Okay, in my opinion, this was another great pick because it's a good comp to T-Mac. Okay, another great comp to T-Mac. You have the speed now at the 4.37, 6'5". You have great receivers in terms of height and size as well. all three of T-Mac, Coker, and Chris Brazzell. I thought a receiver of this caliber was needed. A second round grade or a first round grade, in my opinion, at receiver in this draft class was insanely needed. Okay, because first of all, T Mac's the only guy in this receiver room that I trust to be consistent on a Sunday to Sunday basis. Jalen Coker this, Jalen Coker that. I love Jalen Coker. He has not done enough to prove to me yet that he can be a number two on a team. If he can come here this season and a full snaps that doesn't get injured, can prove to me week to week that he can give you 60 yards a game next to T Mac and be that second weight next to Tedero McMillan and not rest or not stay the same. They can get even better. Then sure, he could be number two. But right now, I thought a receiver was needed because Xavier Legette, I'm out on him, bro. I'll be honest with you guys. A lot of you guys can still have hope and faith that Xavier Legette's going to be something in the NFL. He's not. He's not. He's not a good player, man. The only thing he has is the traits and the speed. That's all he has. He doesn't bring the IQ of a receiver at all. He has the IQ of Jonathan Mingo. He can't catch the ball. The only thing he can do is maybe one every 5 snaps run past a defender. But even then, if he does that, he's not catching the ball. Okay. Xavier Legette, where I'm out on him. Okay. He's not good. Okay. You needed a guy like this who at least even you got him in third round, a guy that in my opinion was graded this high for me in terms of where you got him. Okay, it all makes sense, man. You got Monre Freeling, who in my opinion was a top 10 player in this draft class. You got him at 19. You got Lee Hunter, who was my second right defensive tackle in this draft class. You got him in the late second round. And then you got Chris Brazzell, who was getting some buzz as being a first round pick in terms of the talent level. And you got him in the third round. You're so far so good if you're Dan Morgan, man. Again, but he also Chris Brazzell, he had 1,000 yards last season, had 711 yards in 2023. He averaged 16 yards per carry in 2 seasons back to back. Again, this is a player that a lot of potential, man. A lot of potential. I think he has to come in and prove himself first. I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to have the third receiver spot by the start of the season. Camp needs to prove that to me, okay, because he's not someone right now that I think is a polished receiver all the way. He's not. Okay, so he has to come in here, prove himself before I can sit here and believe that he's going to take Xavier the good spot, even though I hope he does. That's best case scenario is that Chris Brazzell is the number 3 guy out of camp. You guys will say it's not best case scenario because Xavier gets better than he is. Xavier gets not going to be anything, bro. It's over. It's wraps for everybody that wants to believe it. It's over. It's over. But Chris Brazzell, in terms of the selection and the value, great pick as well. Again, if you're Dan Morgan at the receiver position. Next one, this is another great value pick, guys. Will Lee in the 4th round. Will Lee in the 4th round. This was a crazy pick. Like this is also again one of my favorite picks. A lot of people don't realize if you guys don't watch college football like I do, I'm a big college football junkie, man. I probably love college football more than NFL, to be honest, in terms of just Saturdays. Will Lee in 2024 was that dude before he got injured last year. He was that dude, and before injuries kind of mess his 2025 season up, he was that dude. He came into 2024 season as arguably one of the best corners in college football. Okay, and you got him in the 4th round. Again, he's kind of like you could say he's a Harold Perkins, where same situation. He was up and then he went down. You don't take risk on those type of players because they might have peaked as a player. Will Lee has not peaked as a player. Okay, he has not. Because even though he was injured last year, he still made a lot of great plays. He's a pure press man corner, so it's going to be interesting to see how we use him in our defense because we know we play a lot of zone when it comes to our defenses of scheme. So it's going to be interesting to see how we use him. But when it comes to his press man, he's so good at it, man. He's so good. He has great feet. He moves his hips really well, turns his hips very well at that corner position. He's super polished, man, when it comes to press man corner. It's going to be interesting to see, again, how we plug him into this offense right away. But again, you're going to find a way. Players that can play ball, man, play ball. It doesn't matter. You can use guys wherever if they're that good of a player. If Will Lee's as good as he was in 2024, he can step in here and play zone coverage next to JC. But again, the value got. Will Lee was probably, in my opinion, another second round, third round grade for me when it came to the corner position in terms of potential and where you're getting him. He had 24 total career pass breakups. That's really good. That's really good. Meaning he was around the ball and a ball hawk a lot. Okay, started his career at Kansas State. Obviously transferred over to A&M in 2024. Only had 4 career interceptions, so he lacked the interception stat. Only had 4 in 4 seasons in college. So a lot of people can look at that and say, why would you take a corner who only has 4 picks? Again, at the end of the day, turn the film on. Quarterbacks didn't throw it in because he was locking down. Okay, watch his film. You would see that. Again, interceptions don't really matter as much. Interceptions don't matter as much as a lot of people will say it does. Okay, it's nice if a corner has a lot of interceptions. Okay, but if you're not being thrown at because they're locking down, the interception is going to be low. Okay, but again, he has to come in and prove himself. I don't think he's going to come in here year one and be a true impact because you have Mike Jackson, who was really good last year. You have obviously J.C. Horn, Shaw Smith Wade, trash can. You got to figure that out. I still like Cord Thorne in the slot personally. I want to see if he can get some touches in training camp again. Unfortunately, he got that injury, unless maybe he might not be ready for training camp. Who knows? But if he is, I want to see him play the slot, man. I'm tired of Shaw Smith Wade. He had one good play last year, and that was the pick six. After that, he was bad. Okay. Will Lee, again, but people are talking about move JC to slot, do this and that. No. You don't have to rush guys to play in year one. You don't. They have to prove themselves first. Willie's a great player. You can play him in year two. When Mike Jackson walks this offseason, if you don't resign him, what can you do? Will Lee, boom, you're right next to JC Horn now. Okay, you don't have to rush guys into starting. That's how you mess your young players up. So, but when it comes to Will Lee, man, great selection. Another great pick for Dan Morgan. Everything seems to be coming together with these selections. It's all making sense as well. I love this pick, man. Great value for a guy like Will Lee in the fourth round at the corner position. All right, next pick. You got Sam Hecht. Man, this was another great pick. You got arguably the best center in this draft class in the fourth round. Okay. Or was it the fifth round? Yeah, sorry, in the fifth round. You got arguably the best center after Jake Slaughter out of Florida in the fifth round. No sacks given up in 2025. First among all 307 centers. 0 penalties allowed as well. That's first as well among centers. That's the biggest stuff that you want to look at. When you're looking at center, you want to know, can you run block, and are you not going to give any sacks up, no pressures, and no penalties? He only gave up 7 pressures all year last year. This guy's really good. For anybody that's like, how did we get him in the fourth round or fifth round? That's a great question. I don't even know how we got him in the fifth round. You don't have a great center position right now. Okay. You obviously signed Fortner out of Jacksonville this past offseason, and he can start this year. That's totally fine. I think Sam Hecht is too good to not have the starting job at center by midseason. Maybe even wins it outright in camp. We'll see. But if he doesn't play at all, he's going to be your center for next season and above, man. And you're getting value. You got your starting center in the future potentially in the fifth round. Like, this is not a guy that you got at that center position that really didn't do really well. You're just trying to develop. He's coming in with a great body type, 6'4", 300, coming in with no sacks given up last season, no penalties, polished at the position. He can start in year one at the fifth round. A fifth round player can come in here and start in year one. That's the value that Dan Morgan was pulling out for us in this draft class. Okay. So again, another great pick if you're Dan Morgan, if you're the Carolina Panthers, man. Everything's coming together. You're building the trenches. Okay. You got Monre, Freeling, Lee Hunter in the first 2 picks. Okay. And you address the receiver position of need, a great player as well, in Chris Brazzell. Okay. This corner position, you don't know what it's going to look like next season. Okay. And the depth there isn't insane right now. So it's, you got more depth at the very least this season. Okay. And then you got arguably your starting center of the future in Sam Hecht in the fifth round. Cannot tell me this is not a minimum draft right now if you're Carolina Panther fans. Okay. Last pick is Akee Wheatley. I don't know what to say about this either. It's another great value pick. You got him in the sixth round or fifth round, sorry. And again, he's coming in here with stuff to work on. He's not a all-around player yet at the same position. A lot of people are saying he's going to take Nick Scott's spot. Again, let's slow down. Let's slow down. Nick Scott's a good player. He played well last year. Is he a player that's going to be here in the future? No. But we don't the way teams build franchises, they don't just throw guys out right away unless you're just terrible. Okay. The only player that should be gone is Trevor Wallace. That's the only guy on defense that I'm like, that guy sucks. He shouldn't even be given another chance. Same with Xavier Leggett. Other than that, Nick Scott is a good veteran, a good vocal leader in the locker room, man. He played well last season, did not play bad at all, was not the reason why we lost either in the wild card game for people that are saying that. We had no pass rush. That was the main reason why. It wasn't because he dropped the interception. Okay. But no, Zakee Wheatley is not taking his spot this year. He's going to have to sit for a year, maybe even 2, learn the position. He got picked in the fifth round, late fifth round for a reason. He's not a guy that's going to be coming here and making a splash and win the camp job. For everybody that's believing it, Trayvon Morgan, Nick Scott are your safeties starting next season. It's going to happen, but it's okay. Okay, Nick Scott's a good player. You filled out the linebacker and the edge position. Nick Scott is not going to be a player that you're going to be looking at. Oh, he's one of, we have to look at him a lot because we have a lot of good players on defense now, guys. Okay. One spot on defense where you got a vocal leader is okay. A lot of good teams have that. Okay, we have a lot of good players on defense as well that are going to continue to develop, and a lot of good superstar on this defense as well with Devin Lloyd and obviously Jalen Phillips and J.C. Horn. So and Trevon Moore. But a lot of people got to stop worrying about it. He is going to start next season. Okay, it's just going to happen. Zakee Wheatley is probably not going to take the job. Okay, he's probably not. He has a lot of stuff to work on, man. Watch the film, he does. But again, another good value pick, man, at that spot. At the end of the day, man, before we kind of wrap this up, I do want to say, you kind of see it, man. Everything's coming together when it comes to Dan Morgan and his drafting ways. And that's what you want, man. If you're the Carolina Panthers, you want this from your general manager. You want to be able to sit here and um, see everything come together. He says he want to build the trenches. He's done that his first 3 off seasons. He's done that, spent money there at both sides already, drafted on both sides, high first, second round picks already. Um, you got to be happy, man. I'm happy certainly for the way our franchise is going right now with the talent that we have. I'm not upset. I'm happy, really happy decided where it's going, man, because you can start filling out the receiver position more and, doing other things when you get your offensive line, defensive line right. Okay, that's the right way to build a franchise, and Dan Morgan's doing that. So, um, yeah, if you guys are new, just like, subscribe for me, turn on post notifications, man. I'm gonna be dropping more content for the rest of the off season. Might be headed out to camp as well here in July. Fly out there, and or August for a preseason game as well, and get ready for the season. I'm excited. I'm excited for camp. I'm excited for preseason, ready to get into the season. Tough schedule, but this is gonna really prove, man, what Bryce is capable of. You have everything you need for Bryce, man. You got the line, you got defensive line. Defense is good now. You got your number one receiver, man. You got to go out there and prove it, and make playoffs again with this tough schedule. Do something, right? Got to do something. So I'm excited. I'm excited, but make sure you guys like this video, subscribe for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Keep pounding.